Welcome to this month's All Things Apple Special Interest Group. I'm Brookie Thomas, and we have Joe Dietz here with us, and Kurt Jefferson, and Janet Cartmell. So we're the kind of the iHelp team. So tonight, I'm going to go ahead and let Joe start with the program, and then I will follow.
Okay, tonight I've got three different things I want to talk about. One is focus, one about iCloud and iPhone storage, and one about an easy way to add events to your calendar. I'm going to start off with the do not disturb function, which was the old verbiage. Now Apple is calling it focus. So let me share my screen and we'll get into that. Okay, here we are on my home screen. If y'all want to follow along with me, go to your home screen and just go with me on the steps and you'll be able to see everything a little closer and in your hand. First thing I would like to do is go to the settings, tap on settings, and then scroll down until you find focus. Let me see. Can you see that mouse, Brookie?
Yes, it's little.
But you can see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, on focus, we'll tap on that. You get 5 different entries here. Do not disturb, driving, personal, sleep, and work. So I want to talk a little bit about those. Do not disturb could be you're in a meeting, could be you don't want anybody to bother you at night, whatever. I use this one every day. So I'm going to click on do not disturb. And you notice there's some options in here. On mine, I've got it set for 10 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to talk to anybody. And however, I've got some neighbors and relatives and family members that may have an emergency. So I can set it up so they can get through my do not disturb. So that's really a nice step, and I can't be bothered by anybody else until after 7 o'clock. If you look at this screen here, it's got people and apps and options. I'm going to tap on people here, and it says you can allow notifications from certain people. And I've got one name here for Tim. He can get through at any time. If my phone's on do not disturb or not, he can get through. And also, if we go down a little bit further, I allow call from my favorites. Tap on that. And here's different things that you could put in there if you had a dinner club or something that you wanted people to be able to get through when you're in do not disturb. You could do that. I could do book club or just my contacts and things like that. So I've got it set for favorites. And we're not going to really get into favorites right now, but that's another part of your iPhone where you have easy access to certain numbers. So the other thing that's nice about this one, it sort of gives somebody an override if they can't get through. If they call you and you don't answer the phone and you call back within 3 minutes, then it will break through the do not disturb. So that's also kind of a nice feature. Let's see. Okay, the next one here is, let me see here. Oh, down here on the first screen there, you can see my schedule. I don't want to be bothered from 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. every day. And you can change your schedules here and add the pertinent information. If we go back a little bit, the next one is driving. Now, this is one that everybody should use, and nobody does, including me. But when you're driving, you can set it so you can't take any call. You won't receive any calls until you quit driving. And at that time, they'll notify you if you've gotten calls. But you know how we all are on trying to drive and answer our phone or dial a number or read a text message. And you also know it's really kind of dangerous. So that's another option under focus. The third one is personal, and you can do some things here, set some times. I don't find this one a whole lot of help because I use the first one, do not disturb, the most. The next one is the sleep. And I showed you earlier, I got it set from 10 to 7. You could set it in that first session or you could set it here, either way. Then the last one is work. Maybe you don't, when you're at work, if any of you work. Anybody here work? Okay. If you are at work, you can set it where you don't want anybody calling you, or you could do some options about who has access to you, just like in the other ones. So that's a pretty neat function. Okay, going back, the other thing, I get a lot of questions about, any questions about focus? Do not disturb. Go in there and poke around, set your stuff up. It's really good if you're in a meeting, you don't want to be bothered or bugged. You can set that and just won't be bothered. Pretty nice setting. Okay, the next thing I wanted to chat a little bit about your iCloud storage and iPhone storage. I get a lot of questions about that. What does this mean? What does that mean? And we'll get into that here right now. To check on our iPhone storage, we go to down on your phone, you go down until you find General, and then you'll tap on General. And once you get here, where'd it go? I hit the wrong button. Tap on General, and then go down until you find iPhone storage right here, and tap on that. And now here's an important screen. As you look up here at the top line where it says iPhone, you see that 128? When you bought your phone, you purchased a certain amount of storage in your phone. It could be 64 gig, it could be 128, it could be 256, it could be 512. So the more you purchase, the little higher cost your phone will be. But you need to make sure that you have enough storage. You see that I'm using about 72 gigabytes of storage, and that's after several years of taking pictures and lots of apps and messages and the like. So you can do some things about it. If you find yourself getting this number here, getting close to this number, the amount that you've used out of the amount that you bought, then there's some ways to get rid of some stuff where you can get rid of old messages and delete some apps that you're not using and download your pictures to your phone, to your computer. So, and as you go down here, you can see the things that are taking up your space. I've got my Messenger taking up 6 gigabytes. That's really a big storage area because we usually forget about it. And someone sends us a couple pictures, they're in there. They take up a lot of space. But we can set that to get rid of any messages over 1 year, or you can manually delete them as they come in. So that's the iPhone storage. Now I want to compare that to the iCloud storage. So if you go to your home screen and go your settings screen and go all the way to the top where your name is and click on that, you're working with me. So then once you get there, you're going to go down to iCloud and click on that. Now, when you purchase your iPhone, or when you get an Apple account with your iPhone, they give you 5 gigabytes of free space for storage in the cloud. That's a pretty good amount, but most people will use more than that. You saw I had about almost 80 gigabytes, so I need to have more space. So what you can do, here's mine. You get 5 gigabytes free. You notice mine says 50 gigabytes here. So what do we do about this? We can go down here to manage your account storage and tap on that. And up here, you can see here's the information that's taking up space in the cloud. It's stuff that I've synced with the cloud that I really don't want to ever have to lose. If I lose my phone, I can go to the cloud and capture all of this information. So if you only have 5, or say I've got 50 and I've used 40, if I started getting really close to that, if I got 250, it would quit recording anything over 50. So to change that plan, you go down here to change your storage plan, and we'll tap on that. And this one shows me that I've got 50 gigabytes and it costs me 99 cents a month. And that's probably all I'll need. You saw I've had my phone for several years and I'm not real good about deleting pictures or messages. And so I've got a lot. If you need more than that, you can go down here to see some of these options. Go up to 12 terabytes. That's a lot. 6 terabytes, so forth. And if you find yourself that you are paying $2.99 and you're only having 45 gig, you can downgrade it by clicking here. And then you have to sign in with your account so they make sure you're the right person trying to do that. Okay, any questions with iCloud versus iPhone storage? Okay, the next thing I wanted to chat with about, I'm going back to my home screen and I'm going to open my calendar here. When you enter information into your calendar, sometimes it's a lot of typing. You got to type the name and the date and the hour and all that and the repeat stuff. But there's one way that's really helped me a lot, and I use it a lot, is just talk to Siri. So you can see here on Friday, September 20th, I've only got one entry there. And what I'm going to do now is say, hey, Siri, add to calendar September 20th at 8 a.m., meet with Brookie at CKCS. So that's the notification. And there it is. And you can see on the 20th now, meet with Brookie, 8 a.m. So instead of having to go through all that typing process, just talk to Siri, just be clear in your pronunciation, enunciation, and you get that will pop right up for you. Pretty good way to do it. Any questions about the calendar there and talking to Siri? Okay, well, Brookie, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, go ahead, quit sharing the screen and I'll share mine. Okay, I'm going to be talking about, okay, it's not showing. Oh, yeah, we're good.
Oh, Brookie,
Yes.
Let me interrupt a minute. In the chat, I'm going to go ahead and enter my notes for today's class. And so if you if you would like to get that, you can go into the chat and download it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Go to my computer. And so if you look in your chat session, you should find a Word document that says 2024-09-17. And you can tap on that and download it. Okay, Brookie, back to you.
Okay, what are you seeing? Are you seeing my iPad back? No, you're not
It
yet.
says you're sharing, but I don't see anything.
How are we now?
That's better.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is how to set and customize alarms on your iPad. And if you don't have an iPad, it's pretty similar to the iPhone, so you could follow along with that also. We're going to set the alarm, and then we're going to customize it with a label, and we're going to choose a sound or a song to as the alarm, and then we can also set it to repeat. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our clock app right here, and we're going to tap on that. And it brings up several clocks, the world clock, alarms, stopwatch, and timers. So if you've come up on a different tab here, go ahead and tap on alarms. Okay, and that will bring you to this screen. Okay, so to add, the first thing you do is you go over here to the plus sign and you'll tap that. And when you tap that, you'll get this panel coming up and you can set the hour. And so for this example, I'm going to set an alarm to take my Herbie down to the curb on Sunday nights so they can pick it up on Monday morning. All right. So the hour that I want to do that will be 9 o'clock. So I'm going to just scroll up to 9 and I want it to be 9:30. So I'll go over to the next column here and I'll go to 30. And then I can choose AM or PM, and it's already on PM. So that's how you set the time. Then you're down here on repeat. I want it to repeat every Sunday. So I can tap that and I can tap every Sunday. But let's say it's something else you want to do every day. You can tap all of those days and you'll get the alarm going off for the days that you've indicated, okay, that you've chosen. At that point, you're just going to hit back, and then you can label it so that you remember why the alarm is going off. Sometimes it's like, I set that alarm, but what's it for? So you can tap that, and then you can just type in, okay? I'm just going to do trash to curb. All right, so there is the label for it that will come up. And then you can pick the sound that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And here you can do sounds, the kind of the ones that they've had. You hear that one?
Yes.
Yep.
So you've got all of these sounds that you can do. Okay. But the other nice thing is that if you actually go back and scroll to the top, if you have songs on your iPad, you can do a song. Or if you have Apple Music, then you have lots of options that you can use. So here I could go pick a song, and these are songs that I have on my iPad. So I could pick one of those instead of just a sound. Okay. So right now I've gone ahead. This is the default, and I'll just use it. Okay. All right. I knew I was going to do that. I'm going to go back and we'll go down. I just want you to see the other thing that you can do on it. You can choose to have snooze. It gives you 9 minutes. So if you have enabled snooze, if it's off, there's no snooze option. But if you have tapped it and it turns green, then you have the option for a 9-minute snooze, and then the alarm will go off again. Okay? So, and then once you want that, then you can hit save. Okay? Let's say you want to get rid of one, then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the middle one here. And all I have to do is go up here to edit. I'll tap edit, and then you get these little red circles with the minus sign, and you can just tap it to delete it. Okay, you can do it. It's gone. Okay, it was deleted. All right. So here's one for exercise. And let's say I don't want to do it at 9 a.m., but I don't want to go through it all again. I can go ahead and hit done. And then I can edit it. I can tap it and then I can change the time. All right. So let's say I want to exercise at 9:30. Okay. And then all I have to do is hit save and it's changed. So that's how you set the alarm, set the label, set the repeat. And then the other thing you can do is like what Joe said, you can use Siri, and that works pretty well. So let me do that. Hey Siri, set an alarm called exercise for every day at 9 a.m.
Done.
Okay. And so then it added this last one right here. Okay. So that's the way that you can set alarm on your iPad or your iPhone. Any questions about that? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and turn it over to you, Kurt.
Thank you, Berkey. There are 3 documents that I've posted in the chat session. One is about the Mac pointer, the cursor, and the resolution on your screen type of thing. We're going to talk a little bit about that. One is a list of books. I love to read. I constantly listen to audiobooks or I'm reading. And there's some books there you might enjoy if you're a reader like me. The third one is a document that was popular in my Mac class last spring. It's just a visual showing conversions in terms of cooking. And it really, you can print it and stick it on your refrigerator or wherever you want if you like to cook or if you put things together in the kitchen, or you can give it to people, email it to them, and it's really useful. Also, next week, I want to mention to everybody, if some of you didn't hear, we're going to talk about the new operating system for the iPhone, the iPad, and the Mac. And we're going to dig a little bit under the surface to show you a lot of stuff that's available that people don't know. And there's plenty of new stuff. Also, I have not updated this Mac that I'm currently using. but Mac OS 15 came out on Tuesday, along with the iPad and the iPhone updates. And it breaks some things because third-party companies don't always update their software rapidly. They're slow, even though this operating system, all of them have been out for months in beta, what they call beta. In other words, if I would use Zoom on this machine from what I've read, and I'd update this to Mac iOS or Mac OS 15, you could share a screen, but you couldn't get out of that. So I thought, no, I don't think I'll be doing that. But anyway, let me share my screen with you. I'm tongue-tied tonight for some reason. Is there a full moon? Oh, there is. Never mind. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. If I go over here to the Apple menu, they call this the Apple menu on the upper left. If you can see it, it's a white apple, could be black. Come down to System Settings. Oh, and it's open. Over here, it's very much like iOS or iPad OS. All of my little settings, preferences, properties are over here on the left. If I click on Accessibility, and then I click on Display, and I have to scroll down, oh, there's my pointer, my cursor. And I like to shake the mouse to be able to show where the pointer is. You can turn that on. I always have that turned on because if I can't find the mouse for some reason, the pointer, I can shake it and it'll show me where it is. You can also change the pointer size. It can be very small or it can be very large, depending on what you want. I like it somewhere in the middle so I can see the thing. And you can also change the outline color. I usually go with black, but you can go with any color you want. You can click on it. You can choose the crayons down here. It's real easy. Or you can go down here and you have your 5 choices. By the way, these are the same choices they use with Photoshop. So it's pretty in-depth. It's, but you click on one of these and you have a whole bunch of choices. I'm going to choose white now it changed the little pointer outline to white, and I'm going to change the inside, the fill color for the pointer, to red. So now it's red and it's got a white border. So it's real easy to do, but a lot of people don't do this. They don't do this exact thing because they don't know it exists. It's real easy to do. It's been around for about 3 operating systems, I think. Another thing I wanted to show you, if I open any folder, I can open my hard drive. I'm just going to go up on the menu bar up here, and I'm coming down to applications. These are all my apps installed on here. I can increase or decrease the size of my apps so I can see them better, because sometimes it's hard to see. Down here on the lower right is a little slider. You can make them really small. You can make them really large. So you only have one showing. So that's actually real useful. And in the Mac class that I've been teaching for several years, people don't know this exists. And if you know iOS, you pretty much know Mac OS. I mean, the two are very closely linked because it's the same company. But it's very easy to do, and it's not any heavy lifting. People don't know this exists. So it's good to know it's there. If you want to change your dock, which is what this is called down here, it's kind of like a launching pad. You just drag something down out of applications. You don't drag it to the desktop, but you drag it down to the dock, leave it down on your dock down here, and it moves to your dock. So pretty handy. Also on the left, you have what's called a sidebar. It's an easy way, once you open any folder, all your stuff on the left is accessible. Holy Toledo, I need to really clean this out. This is my desktop, stuff that's on my desktop, just files of all kinds that I really need to clean up. I used this computer to teach at aviation camp this past summer, so it's still got a lot of stuff on there from camp that I need to get rid of because there's no reason to have it on here. But anyway, it's really easy to do, really easy to use. I also back up using iCloud. Joe spent a lot of time talking about iCloud. It's available on all Apple devices. To get there, for me, the easiest way is to click on my desktop. This is what's called the Finder on the Mac. This desktop picture here, wallpaper, is the Finder. It's kind of like File Explorer or that kind of thing. Go to Go. It's okay, bud. Click on Go. Come down to iCloud Drive. And here are all the files that are in my iCloud Drive. I've got 85 items in there, including folders for like pages, numbers, Keynote that have items in them. And I log in Keynote, numbers, all of the books that I've read. And there we go. And it shows you, I keep track of it so I don't have to reread something that I forgot that I read years ago. But it's got stuff in it that I could delete and clean it up, just like Joe was talking about. But one thing I wanted to show you real quick, excuse me, I have a cat walking on my keyboard. You never hear that, do you? Never hear that comment. If I click on the Apple again, it's okay. Come down to system settings. Just like on the iPad and the iPhone, I can click on General, and I can click on Software Update. I have not updated this computer to macOS, they call it Sequoia, that's the nickname, 15. I haven't done that yet because I want to wait until October for 15.1. That's because Apple will introduce AI, artificial intelligence, on all its devices at that time, and they will have killed a lot of bugs in their software. There's still bugs in here they haven't gotten rid of on all their software. And something else I wanted to show you, I'm going to move my Zoom thing over here if I can find where I put it. Here it is. You can see this. If you're running a Mac and you have not upgraded to Sequoia, down on the bottom, there's an update for Sonoma, which is the current operating system, which is macOS 14. A lot of people don't know this exists. They don't want to update to Sequoia yet, so they just don't do anything. Well, there's an update down here. You can click on More Info, and install it. And that's what I did this evening, to update this to the latest version for Sonoma, because this contains a lot of security updates down here. People don't know they exist. And that's about it. But next week, we should give you a chock full, probably listing of things that are available on all the different devices. Two websites real quickly you might want to go to if you're interested in a Mac are 925mac.com. And they don't just deal with the Mac, they deal with everything. They give a review of the new Apple Watch. They talk about the iPhone, the iPad. I read this every day because I think it's one of the best sites for me to keep up to date on this stuff. I don't inhale this stuff. I don't live on this stuff, but I do glance through it to see what's available that I haven't read that I might be interested in. There's all kinds of stuff. And the other one that's well known, it's kind of another publication, they're kind of rivals, is macrumors.com. And it's very similar. All kinds of tips that you can get. And I use this in the classroom when I teach the Mac class. I pull from this for the newest operating system and say, did you know this? Here's where you need to go to read about it if you have this, or you're interested in it. But there's so much stuff in these new operating systems. We could take a year's full of SIG sessions here and we wouldn't touch them all. There's that much stuff, but you have to dig into this to figure it out. And once you learn it, it'll really help you. There's a lot of stuff in here that could benefit you if you know that it's there. The big catch is knowing that it's there. So I just learned from reading this that the updates that Apple just issued on Tuesday, I use these programs all the time. This is Apple's version of Microsoft Office. And they're free and they're incredible. This is Pages, which is a word processor, desktop publisher, Numbers, and Keynote. And if you aren't using them, and it doesn't matter if you have Microsoft Office, those are perfectly good programs too. But these are free and you can use them and they work well with the operating systems. So I've been using this for years. In fact, I've taught classes. But this website, if you're trying to learn more about the Mac, the iPhone or the iPad or the Apple Watch, what do they call the goggles that they're selling? The pods, the AirPods Pro that are now hearing aids for medium and minimum people who have slight hearing problems. Those are now medically approved by the FAA, and I didn't know that until I read it on here. So all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I'm done, but those are options for you to read if you're interested.
Okay, Kurt, you keep saying next week we're going to do this, but we're not going to do it
next month. Sorry.
Yes. If he's going to do it next week, we won't be there, just Kurt. So next month. And then also, I think it's relevant for what you were saying about the new Mac OS is that I updated my iPad and my iPhone from 17.6.1 to 17.7 yesterday. So that's not upgrading to the new operating system. It is just updating your current operating system for all those security issues. So you may want to take care of that. Any questions?
So when are you going to do the iOS 18 for the iPad?
What we're saying is the iPad last week, the operating system was 17, and then it was 0.6.1. And so they've actually issued an update to that operating system, 17.7.
Right.
So I went ahead and did that. But the 18 is the upgrade, and I won't do that probably for a couple of weeks.
Because it's on the screen waiting, but I've got to do the 17.7 first.
I find this really confusing for a lot of people, and it gets confusing. There are two operating systems. One is an upgrade to the current one, and the new one, iOS 18. And a lot of people wait until a little bit of time until October or whatever, until it's 18.1 before they update to that. But there've been a number of people asking me questions about this because it is confusing. But if it's 17, it's the current operating system. It's just an update with a lot of security updates. If it's 18, it's new. Same thing on the Mac. If it's Mac OS 15, it's the current operating system. If it's, 14, if it's 15, it's the new one.
Okay.
Kurt, would you repeat
numbers?
Would you repeat the title of the last two things you showed about Apple Update where you read the information? Would you repeat the name
Sure,
of the website?
websites. Sure.
Yeah.
One of them, and I'll go slowly. It's use the numbers. It's 9to5mac.com.
Okay.
And the other one is Mac Rumors, plural, macrumors.com.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Are there any capital things you have to worry about? Caps? No? Okay.
Now, let me ask a question about the 17.7. You're saying go ahead and do that or not? Go ahead
Yes.
and do that. Okay.
Yeah, do that. That's security update.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not done that. I just noticed on here when I went to bed, it says, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was the same way, Jan, when I upgraded my iPhone and my iPad. I said, what's this? There was 18 at the top, which is the new one, and 17 down below with the new version of Safari also. And I thought, well, I updated to 17, whatever it is, before I updated to 18. Because I don't know if it's required. I don't know if you have to do that, but I knew there were security updates in that one, so I just decided to do it. But I find this confusing. Someday we won't even be talking about updates. We'll just think about them and they'll appear. Okay, I can dream, right?
Don't say that.
It'll be all AI
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But it'll
Kurt,
be fun next month. Sorry. Go ahead, Rita.
oh, no, you mentioned that about the hearing aid thing. I missed, though, which earphone.
It's the AirPod Pros.
Okay.
Not the AirPods, but it has to be the AirPod Pros.
And that's probably something available more recently.
They're new. They're new, and you have to make sure you're getting the new version. And I think if you scroll through one of those websites, it talks about the AirPod Pros that are approved by the FDA for hearing loss.
But it's really just people that really don't have that much hearing loss, is what you're saying.
It's up to, I don't know the decibel level of loss because I'm not an audiologist. I wish I were, but anyway, my understanding is it's up to moderate hearing from what I've learned. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean you're in a room where or you're in a crowded restaurant and as happens, the waiter or waitress comes over and you can't hear them because there's noise in the background? Is that middle of the road hearing loss? Is that minor? But if you read about it, I was surprised to hear this, but it said they've tested them, but it has to be the AirPod Pros, and they will work for minimal and medium, moderate hearing loss. I don't know, Brookie, are you a hearing loss expert?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I'm interested in it for sure.
I am too.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that the person that I went to said, because I complained of that when you're in a room with all these people talking.
Yep.
She said, that's really normal. You just have to learn how to listen.
Focus.
And I'm like, well, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm the
That's
same
right.
way. My hearing is not what it used to be, but if I'm in a restaurant and a waitress comes over or a waiter, I can normally understand them. They're not right in my ear. I can hear them. But if there's all people laughing and all this noise at table number 16 over there in the corner and they're having a wonderful time and I'm just with somebody and I just want a meal and they're making all kinds of noise, I find that even though I'm focusing, I can't hear as well as I used to because of and then there's music playing, awful music that's loud, thumping. And then you have somebody over here who drops a plate right when she's saying, spinach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've had similar trouble in restaurant and places like that where there's just a lot of racket. But with my hearing aids, I'm able to change when the sound's like this, I can focus the sound so it's only like this, and it cuts out maybe a noisy group behind me.
Joe, do you
That
do
helps.
that with a phone? How do you do that? Because I've heard some people it'll be to your phone. How do you
It's
do it?
it syncs with my phone, and I have
Oh,
an app on my phone that allows me to. There's several microphones up there, and I can cut a couple of them off. So instead of the whole gamut, it just focus on a certain area.
Does it help considerably, Joe, to do that?
It helps.
I think I have minor hearing loss. I mean, I had a test last year and my hearing wasn't what it used to be. So the AirPod Pros might help me, but I don't think I'm to the point where I really need them yet. But and they're expensive. I don't know how
I
much
was
they
going to say,
cost.
did you notice how much? I haven't looked at the price.
Yeah.
Has anybody
They're
looked at the price of them?
They're on one of those websites where they talk about them or they review them. They're considered medical devices, and they are considered part of the over-the-counter hearing aids, which are all the rage right now. My understanding is there's some really, really good ones out there over the counter. If you do, if you go to thewirecutter.com, owned by the New York Times, which reviews things, and some of the other review sites, websites, look and see what they say. But there's some really good stuff out there that's over the counter and thousands of dollars less expensive than, they're not going to be what you get from an audiologist. If you have really bad hearing situation, you probably have to get a regular hearing aid, like a Bluetooth hearing aid. But these things they work for a lot of people apparently now. They're a lot less expensive, the over the counter ones, from what I've read. So,
I think
excuse me, Berkey, did
I
you
think
say
if
something?
when I get them, I would want to know what Joe had, because
Exactly.
that's the biggest thing.
Joe, you've got Bluetooth ones connected to your phone, don't you?
Yeah.
I
Those are
think
probably
most
the
of them
best.
nowadays do. Most of. How about Philip? How about yours? Do you have an app on your phone?
Yes, I have an app on my phone and I can turn it up and down and do the same technique that Joe has that he's talking about. But I'm just stating a personal opinion. I've worn hearing aids for years. I think it may be the analogous to getting the reading glasses at the drugstore or something like that.
Good point.
I think
Yeah.
I think if you had really bad hearing loss or issues, go see an audiologist. That's my advice.
Another thing about the ones I've got a little app that hooks to my TV. And so I turn my TV down to one volume, which I couldn't hear. Nobody could hear it. But then I can stream it to my earphones and adjust it in my phone.
When somebody calls you on your iPhone also, Joe, the speaker's not even used. It's muted. It comes through your ears, rings in your ears.
You can set it either way. You can set it to
Okay.
come to your ears, or you can set it to be on your phone.
Okay.
So how
If
many
I've got
people
somebody
here have
I want-
hearing aids? How many people have hearing aids in this group? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
How many
If he
people
asked
need
how
them?
many should have hearing aids.
Well, when I took my hearing test at the Lexington Clinic, at that same time they were tearing down the parking structure right next door
God.
when they getting the new building. So I was trying to determine which were the beeps and which was the, construction being done.
Jackhammer.
So I think I need to be retested.
Oh, golly.
Okay, so we covered some things tonight, and next month we will hopefully have a lot more information about the new operating systems.
Do folks need to be given time to download this stuff, or has everybody gotten it that wants them?
Good point. In chat, we have several documents that if you want to download, you need to download it before we sign off. So there's one how to set your alarm. Where's yours, Joe?
Pardon?
I see yours. Focus, Siri, and then Kurt's.
Berkey, is yours labeled handout?
Mine says, it's not showing handout, it just says August 2024
Thank you.
how to set.
Got it.
And at the top, you should see Brookie to everyone, Kurt to everyone, and Joe to everyone. Yeah. Okay. So
And if you like the
those.
books, I'm sorry, if everybody likes the list of books, I'll start doing this monthly. If you're like me, if you like a list of books, because I find them amazing, because it's hard to dig through all that's available. But if you want me to continue to do this, I'll do them every month.
A nice list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
very
right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank
We'll see
you all.
you next
Good luck
month
with your
if we
dog,
don't see you
Rita.
before then.
Yeah. Good luck with your new dog, Rita. I think that's great. we need a progress report next
No,
month
I'm
when you've got
hoping
your new
that my
AirPod
neighbor
Pros
takes
because
the
of the
dog.
barking.
All right. Thank you.